All right, Illini Basketball Podcast episode 245, January something, 22nd, 2025. Wednesday is the day in case people are listening on a Thursday. This was being filmed and sent out to the people on a Wednesday. I feel like we haven't done a podcast in a long time.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a minute. I don't know, with our schedules, it's kind of screws things up. Like, is it better to talk about this game initially? Sure, but I think our perspectives is probably going to be different than if we would have initially talked about it too. Hinkle can shut the hell up, by the way. So
Whoa, shots
we'll
fired.
we'll do shows when we want to do shows, and you can't change that. So
We haven't done a podcast in 6 days. That's
yeah,
why it feels like that. Okay.
we did a watch party though. Everybody got to see us get angry about Illinois losing to Michigan State. So
yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, tough game to lose, and people are going to blame, high knees. People are going to blame the refs, but you look at it, and Illinois didn't shoot the ball well. 5 for 24 from three, 17 for 27 from the line. Had a chance to win the game with 28 seconds left. We talk about KJ's fouls all we want, but this is a game, regardless of if KJ plays 9 minutes, that Illinois probably should have won. So apparently Brad Underwood said they talked to the league today, and they agree about Kasparis's fouls and said, I don't know what you do. The fifth one was probably a foul. Star players don't get those little incidental things like that, which I think is a
We're on to Maryland, Brad. We're on to Maryland.
Interesting quote. Bootzilla, what's up? Warner, what's going on? Also, the bench got teed up in this game. So, I mean, lose by 2, whatever. I don't think that's the reason they lost. But Brad blamed Michigan State's bench for being up and said that they got the technical. He doesn't understand how they got it. But he also said that official is one of the best in the country. I don't know who he was talking about. I assume it was Mr. Anderson, but who knows?
He works the most, certainly.
Yeah, he definitely works the most. Purdue got to experience him last night too, so
it's true.
I don't know. It sucks to lose this game. It sucks that KJ only got to play 9 minutes in it. But 28 seconds left. Boswell comes down. Brad said he wanted to change what they did. He said they scored on that play 19 times in a row. So Boswell, I think Boswell has to go up with that shot, though. I don't think you try to pass that off to Tommy. Tommy probably should have been ready for it, but tough way to lose one. About the referees too, Michigan State fans seemed to only be concerned that the fouls were even and the free throw attempts were even, and that Michigan State's been to more Final Fours than Illinois in the last 20 years. So,
yeah, it's a case-by-case thing, I think, for the games. I mean, in this specific game, you had Illinois' best player get to play 9 minutes and foul out, and clearly I don't think he had 5 actual fouls in this game.
I
would
say you could have called 3, maybe 4 on him, but Kasparis does foul. I mean, it's not like he doesn't foul. I think he's had 4 in a few games. So I know it was in 9 minutes, but he's got to control his body better. I know that we bitched about moving screens the whole game, but his 5th foul, he's got to control that a little bit better.
Yeah, you only get to play 9 minutes, which is the tough part of this. Michigan State fans are loud right now. I mean, it's fine, whatever.
They're loud about the pass, though. Michigan State, Illinois, I think is pretty level playing field the last 5 years, maybe.
Michigan State is not as good as their record right now. I think it's hard to think that. I I think they're probably more like a 5-2, 6-1 Big Ten team. Like they're good.
Yeah.
For them to be undefeated, I mean, a lot of it's schedule stuff. You get Illinois at home first, you beat them. They did beat up a Nebraska team that I think is a little underrated, but I don't think Nebraska in December is what they are right now. They beat Washington at home. They won at Northwestern, which Illinois couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
They won at Minnesota, which Michigan couldn't do. And then in their non-conference games, I mean, I think they're better than Memphis, and they lost to Memphis. And I think they're probably just as good as Kansas, and they lost to Kansas. One thing they did do is they did beat North Carolina. North Carolina right now is not a great loss to have. I mean, North Carolina is still, a team that's in the 30 to 40 range in the country, but still not a very good team. RIP Hubert Davis, got to be gone this year. Anyway, but Michigan State, they're fine. I mean, I don't think there's anything crazy. Like, I think Michigan State's ceiling is not as high as Illinois or Michigan, or I think it's more Purdue-like in terms of ceiling.
Yeah, and Bootzilla said Michigan State's schedule gets tougher going forward, I believe. I think they have a pretty generous schedule. I mean, their next few games, Rutgers, Minnesota, and then they go out and play USC and UCLA, have Oregon at home. They play Oregon at East Lansing.
Mid to late February, it heats up.
Yeah. I guess when they come to Illinois, February 15th, it gets a little tough. But they get to play Purdue at home, and then they go to Michigan, and then Maryland, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan to finish. So Michigan State definitely has the most generous schedule, I think, especially being 7-0 right now to win the Big Ten title. So people are going to have to hope they fall back. I don't know if you're going to be catching them. So Jeffrey says, think Ben could have been used more on booty ball. Jake Davis could have shot more threes. Boswell could have played better.
I think Purdue might have a bit of an easier overall schedule.
Purdue's is pretty favorable too, except that they've now lost their 2 games back, and they got Michigan Friday. So
yeah, that'll be a tough one in Ann Arbor. They like Purdue's taken 2 losses that you could say, maybe they shouldn't have lost both of those games. Certainly shouldn't lose at Mackey to Ohio State, but Penn State was playing well early December and they caught them at a bad time. So I understand that loss, but then Michigan State hasn't had any losses that they like. Even if Michigan State loses this game to Illinois, you'd be like, yeah, Casper's played 9 minutes. It's not a great look for Michigan State, but they've won all the games they need to win. Like they're going to lose at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if Rutgers keeps it pretty close with them on Saturday. And then I don't think they'll win both of those West Coast games. I think they'll drop one of those games. I still think Michigan State's going to win the conference in the regular season just based on scheduling. I think at worst, this team probably goes, 14-6, 15-5? That might be good enough to get it done.
And you kind of saw it with Purdue, I think, go into the West Coast, and then they have to come back and play Oregon. So we'll see what that travel does too. So, there's definitely some losses out there for them, but
didn't affect Illinois at all. Illinois came off of that travel and smoked Penn State, ran them out of the building. That's but Illinois, Michigan State over the past 6 seasons.
That's what matters, right? Does it matter what happened in 2000? No.
And by the way, Illinois
beat 25 years ago, folks.
If I added a 7th season, Illinois beat Michigan State at home. Michigan State was ranked 5th, if you remember.
Yeah.
I would assume in freshman year they won that, so I could have added that, but I didn't.
I think I left that game early.
Smart move. And remember, one of these losses, Michigan State has 5 wins, Illinois has 4. The loss that Illinois had in Champaign, they're 3-1 in Champaign. They had a chance to win at the end. Io slips, if you remember.
Yep.
They lost that game. So 3-1 in Champaign. Illinois is 1-4 in East Lansing. Their 1 win in East Lansing was 2022 or 2021-22 season. This is where, some people wouldn't print this information from an Illinois side, but since fouls and free throw attempts are such a big conversation, I went back and looked at the total number of fouls and free throw attempts by both teams in the 9 games they've played. Illinois has 150 fouls. Michigan State has 149 fouls.
Pretty even.
Illinois has 191 free throw attempts. Michigan State has 168. So just it's out there. There's a lot of different, there's context that's important here, I'm sure, but those are just the raw numbers.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of games where Michigan State just didn't get to the line. A game where they had like 7 free throws. It's the way it is. But and you look at some of the other stuff in the Big Ten. Underwood's 130 and 54 overall in the last 6 years, 74 and 34 in the Big Ten. Izzo's 117-65 in the last 6 years, and 62 and 44 in the Big Ten. So Underwood obviously 74 and 34 in the Big Ten against 62 and 44. Pretty big advantage there for Underwood. Illinois has 5 NCAA tournament wins in that time. Michigan State has 4. Suck on that. And we'll see him again in Champaign.
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
Definitely will. Let's get into the players a little bit. Player of the game, I went with Will Riley. Caspers was in foul trouble. Will came in. I believe he had 16 points in the first half, or something like that. But 26 minutes for him, 7 for 17, 2 for 3 from 3, 3 for 6 from the free throw line. Got to shoot better free throws. That kind of goes for everybody on this team right now. 19 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, a block for him. I thought this was kind of Will's coming out party. I mean, kind of the game where he showed you the things he can do. Big and one that he missed a free throw on. But I thought he was good. Michigan State, I don't know if they figured something out or Illinois just decided to not utilize Will as much in the second half. Will maybe missed a few shots, but I thought it was a really good game from him. And hopefully this kickstarts, things moving forward. Underwood said, quote, he's a freshman and he's going through it. He had to go through being at the top of the scouting report from teams. I didn't know that, but that's what Brad says, which he has for a long time and missed some easy shots. So again, let's hope Will has it figured out now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that he did was showing just like the ability of Ivisic, sorry, I apologize to him. Like just the ability to just pick teams apart. Like he's so lethal with his passing and Will Riley was finishing everything. I mean, he had such an efficient half for what we've seen from him this season. And they needed that when Caspers only played 9 minutes, but Caspers only playing 9 minutes didn't stop me. He's player of the game, Casper Siakachonis. I mean, look.
Caspara.
There should be justice here, folks. He only got to play 9 minutes. Like, that's so insane. Like, if you're Michigan State, you have to feel a little bit disgusting about that.
Yeah.
The best player on the other team gets to play 9 minutes. A guard getting, like, if Ace Baldwin, when he used to play defense, he doesn't play defense anymore. When Ace Baldwin – if Ace Baldwin got the Casper's whistle, he would play 5 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so stupid. They let Fears played physical and hard, which is fine. But, like, there was a couple early, like, hand check stuff they could have easily just called based on the way they were calling the game. I mean, they called some of these games are so over-officiated. And this is an example of that. Like, you have 54 free throws between the two teams, 20 fouls apiece. I don't think that, they should let them play, and the numbers are just so high in this game. Like, I think there's several Michigan State Illinois games that have just been over officiated. I don't think either team was being that physical enough to shoot 27 free throws apiece.
Yeah, and it's more like just a consistency issue, right? Like if you're gonna call it one way, call it the whole game that way. They called one moving screen on Michigan State when they did it a shit ton. Let's be honest. Why call it that one time if you're not going to call it again to maybe get them to actually plant their feet and set a screen? There was the tip ball that 2 guys called it Illinois' ball. The guy over by Izzo decided to overrule 2 other refs and make it Michigan State's ball. And then the jump ball timeout situation was kind of weird too. That's where Brad or whoever ended up getting teed up. So, yeah, college basketball has a consistency issue with the refs right now. So
I think it has for like a long time too.
Eric says Merez is his player of the game.
Very good Merez game by the numbers.
It was.
Casper's 1 of 3 from the field and
over 2 from 3.
Over 2 from 3. I mean, he dominated for a couple minutes when he came back with the 4 fouls. 3 points, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. There you go.
Solid 9 minutes. Underwood said, quote, the best player in the game played 8 minutes. You saw a little of what he can do when he was in controlling the game in the pick and rolls. Unfortunately, today he didn't get to play. He said that the 4th foul was awful and gross, just gross. And then he said, somebody asked about what Michigan State did offensively to get KJ in foul trouble, and I think Brad took it the wrong way. And he said, quote, they did nothing defensively. He diced them up to start the game. If anybody thinks that he was guarded very well, there hasn't been one team in the country that has guarded him with any success. He's a maestro. Every bucket was easy. He is that dude now. If he isn't the best point guard in the country, he's very close. So Brad got a little heated, which is understandable. I mean, that's, again, tough way to lose a game. So
he's the best point guard in the country. The refs shouldn't walk away from him.
Yeah. Jeffrey says refs was a shit show. Even the AP agreed.
They agreed or they agreed?
They agreed. Illinois moved up 2 spots after the loss. So
Illinois got a very favorable narrative right now. Which don't ruin it by losing tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. I hope this is a game that kind of gets the guys going and being like, we're not losing it again. Like,
it's amazing to me that the consensus right now is Illinois is the best team in the Big Ten, but they're 5-3.
Right.
I mean,
it's hard to. The
metrics and stuff would back that up, but I don't know. At some point, you got to reward winning, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got to shoot better. You can't shoot 20% on the road at Michigan State and expect to win. You can't shoot 63% from the line and miss 10 free throws and expect to win. It doesn't matter who's playing. It won't happen. Or if it does, it's shocking. So, Tomislav played 28 minutes. Let's get a new dog, they say. Played 28 minutes, 6 for 13 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. 13 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. You mentioned it earlier. His passing was elite this game. Had a couple nice alleys, kept finding guys underneath the hoop. He apparently had strep throat. Brad said that he was feeling awful. He was dead and he couldn't breathe. So pretty solid game from him. Kind of wish a couple more threes would have fell, but he definitely plays well out of the pick and roll. And even when Kasparis wasn't in, Illinois still went to that with Boswell. So Boswell is another story that we'll get to.
True.
Anything on Tommy?
I already said it.
You already did.
He's a lethal passer.
Let's talk about Boswell. 38 minutes, 5 for 13, 0 for 4 from 3. I believe they were all just kind of random shots. None were in flow of the game or anything. 3 for 4 from the line, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 5 turnovers. I don't know if Illinois has another option when KJ isn't playing or is hurt or in foul trouble, but I don't know if Boswell is the guy that can run the point. He just that one no-look pass that he made for no apparent reason. It was literally a guy 7 feet from him, and he no-look passed it to Michigan State's bench. He's got to care for the ball a little bit more. And I just the threes that he takes sometimes are underwhelming, in my opinion.
Give DGL a spin.
I wouldn't hate that. Especially DG, I don't know how good DGL's passing is, but DGL in the pick and roll could be really good. So, Illinois, if they take 35 plus threes, they better rebound. They out rebounded Michigan State in the first half, and yet I think they got outboarded in the second half.
Yeah.
Butilla said, I'd be a little more worried about Maryland had we won at Michigan State, not worried about Maryland with this team.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Maryland's going to regret having to play Illinois tomorrow. So
I don't know if DGL is a point guard. Yeah,
you can do something at the top if you have Ivisic on the floor at the same time. I think you could do something.
Yeah. I know that and I know Boswell makes some really dumb passes, but he also makes some really good passes. So it's kind of like KJ, but like a worse version.
You just have to hope that you don't. You just have to hope that you don't have to deal with that. That he gets
and it's not timely turnovers like being down 1 with 28 seconds left. But people are yelling at my boy Big Hummer. 35 minutes, 2 for 7, 1 from 3 from 3, 1 for 2 from the line, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I don't know what they're mad about. This seems like a perfect game.
Needs to probably make a couple more shots, as most of the guys needed to. But
yeah,
I don't know, just a mid game, as the kids would say, mid game for him. He wasn't great, wasn't bad.
Oh, really? You want to know about a mid game? Trey White, 20 minutes, 0 for 2.
I think it's worse than mid.
3 for 5 from the line, 3 points, 4 rebounds. Trey
no
White,
fouls, no turnovers though.
Yeah, Trey. I mean, I wish one of those threes would have went down. I don't know. I don't know with when Will Riley's on the floor if he's just not. He doesn't have the floor spacing to cut like he usually does. I think Will Riley kind of takes over that role. So I don't know where that puts Trey White when Will's on the court. But Trey's is this 3 games in a row? Trey's been not great.
It's tough. Yeah. He is let's see, 5 for 23 from the field in the last 3 games. That's brutal. 5 for 23 from the field.
Yeah.
6 offensive rebounds though.
And he missed 2 free throws, got fouled on a 3 and missed 2 free throws, which is un-Trey White-esque, I would say.
4 for 7 from the free throw line last 2 games.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Jay says, I understand Illinois wants to take a ton of threes and rebound to get you more looks, yet at times, what kind of threes are you getting? Are they good looks? I'm fine if they're mainly good looks. I'll tell you that Michigan State did a really good job of not giving Illinois very good looks on threes this game. They had a game plan that Illinois was going to have to beat you at the rim. The ones that hurt me are like when Boswell just comes down and shoots it because there's nobody down there to rebound yet. And taking those threes is big. I mean, you could give Boswell 2 more turnovers for taking threes like that in a game. So I think those are the ones that really hurt you. Off the bench, DGL played 21 minutes, 3 for 5, 0 for 2 from 3, 1 for 1 from the line, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. Want DGL to make a 3 maybe once, but I think this was a pretty good game from him. Merez, I think Eric said that would have been his player of the game. 17 minutes, 3 for 3, 5 of 8 from the line, which I think you take from Merez every game. 11.6 rebounds. Merez played well. Jay says, I think Boswell could have been sick. He didn't play well on offense and surprisingly got burnt on D 4 or 5 times. Yeah, Boswell has a tendency to get beat to a guy's strong hand, which I don't think should happen. And then you got Jake Davis, 5 minutes, 1 for 3, 1 for 2 from 3, 3 points, 1 rebound. Jake, fine game. Are you surprised he only played 5 minutes? This might be the least amount he's played.
He should be playing 50 a game. This is outrageous.
That's fair. But I got some Underwood post-game stuff. He said, quote, I thought we handled a lot of tough situations today pretty well. He said, you can't come in here and miss free throws and expect to win. They guarded exceptionally well and took away our 3-ball. And then he was asked about what his thoughts on Tom Izzo. So this is for Hinkle and Hinkle only. He said, in 2003, I was a JUCO coach in Daytona Beach and would get up and watch his team play. Talking about Tom. I always said I wanted to do it like that and wanted my teams to play hard. He's a rip your head off competitor, and so am I. You want to go to the parking lot? He and I will both go fight and see who wins, and then we will hug each other at the end. Got a lot of respect for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Brad said that he wants to play a 34 conference games.
That's just.
He said that he wished that everybody played everybody twice. And he said, just play everybody twice and have a real league that plays everybody twice. That would be fun. And then he's like, wouldn't that be fun having these guys in Illinois? And it's like, Brad, they're coming to Illinois. So I do think that like having 18 teams makes some teams have easier schedules. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think there's any way to fix it. It was this kind of the same way when there were 14 teams. So Brad would just like to play 34 games, but then how would he play Duke and Arkansas? And
yeah, you can't.
That'd be a real bummer for him. I did see that exhibitions don't need to get clearance from the NCAA anymore. So
good.
I could see Brad playing like 6 exhibition games.
6 to 10.
How many are in the Big Ten now? 18 teams in the league right now. So, yeah, I don't know. This is a game. You get over it, you learn from it, and you use it as fuel. So, it sucks that KJ didn't get to play more than 9 minutes, and it sucks that Illinois still had a chance to win. And I don't even want to say that Brad should have called a timeout because Boswell got to the lane. He just decided to give it up instead of shooting it. So we know how Boswell is at shooting layups.
And fuck all the Michigan State fans who are pretending like Illinois hasn't been a top tier Big Ten program for 6 years.
Yeah.
Oh, they got to move the goalposts to Final Fours because Illinois got to the Elite Eight and lost to the national champion last year. God damn it, that sucks. Just so dumb. Like, show us a little respect. I just laid out the record. Your school in the last 6 years, which, if we're going to talk about current day events, in the last 6 years, your school is 62-44 in the Big Ten. That's great. Illinois 74-34 and has one more NCAA tournament win in the last 6 years. So, whatever.
Yeah, Hinkle, pay attention. I already said that early. Jeez. Jay says Tommy's passing is elite, like him at the top, and Merez cut to the basket, worked pretty well at the end. Wish they did it earlier. Yeah, the Illinois, like with Tommy, you can run some really nice high-low stuff. Brad doesn't like taking a lot of twos, though. I don't know. I think that he could run that all day long, but they don't.
That's what they're best at.
Just got your Hinkle. Go back to the beginning then. Jeffrey says the team is growing, but we're dangerous to any team in the country. Yeah, this game doesn't. It bothered me in the moment, like watching the game. It was frustrating, but I mean, it's a loss at Michigan State, who's number 8 in the country. So with KJ,
are they 8th right now? God,
yeah, they've moved up to 8th.
Is it the worst number 8 team in the history of the sport?
MSU acts like they have 10 national titles. Yeah, it's like they should be embarrassed by the way they actually talk.
Well, what they have is that they've made the tournament every year since '98.
25 yeas in a row or something.
Yeah, but they have the same number of Sweet 16s in the last 6 years as Illinois. So tell Izzo he needs to figure out how to win without Cassius Winston. Tell him that. No, I have respect for Izzo. I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do with the bitching at the ref stuff. It's fine. It's old school stuff. And, you want to talk about a model program for the conference. I mean, in terms of consistency and some of the NBA guys they've had, I mean, they're right there. Probably the best
Yeah.
one. Definitely the best one in the last 25 years, right? I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah, and I think with
Them and
Purdue's
Michigan,
loss, Michigan State now has the longest active home win streak. So
There you
I
go.
hear about that some too.
Yeah. All right. Illinois tomorrow night. They will play Maryland, 8 o'clock FS1. I think no watch party for this one because let's break down a couple things on this. Number one, last year we did the game at home against Maryland. It was a very depressing loss. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, we're probably going to do Sunday anyway, right? So, we did 2 last week.
Time's the game Sunday.
Afternoon, I think.
Okay.
2 o'clock.
Okay.
We don't, I mean.
Who do they play? Northwestern?
Yeah, we didn't do the first Northwestern game.
2 o'clock. All right.
And then after that, maybe we'll do the one next Thursday at Nebraska. I mean, there's a lot coming up.
I'll cut you a deal.
I don't know if we want to do this on air, folks.
No watch party on tomorrow. On tomorrow? Tomorrow? I don't even know what today is.
Respect us for not making up. Respect to me for not making up why I don't want to do it. I just,
He's just telling you how it is.
Sometimes I like to tweet during the game.
But we need Ethan Carter free throws. Post it on Twitter or whatever. Do a short on YouTube. We need free throws. Deal?
It's the easiest deal that I could ever make.
Okay.
It's not even going to be that cold.
You guys will get a halftime show. There just won't be a watch party.
It's going to be like 28 degrees. It's not bad.
Paul says to man up and do a watch party.
We don't need to do it every game. It's just that ruins the fun of the watch parties.
Eric says watch party on Sunday. All right. Deal. Eric also says Illinois 83, Maryland 70. Calm down. Anyways.
I think that's fair.
I'm going to go check on my dogs. You just keep talking.
All right. Maryland is 14-5, 4-4 in the Big Ten. Illinois is up to number 17 in the AP poll, 13-5, 5-3 in the conference. This game, like I said, Thursday, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock FS1. An interesting stat that I wrote down for this game is that Brad Underwood, off of a loss since the beginning of last season, is 12-0 now. They're 4-0 off a loss this year. And if anybody wants to take a guess off the top of their head without looking it up, when the last time Illinois lost 2 games in a row was, feel free to answer that. Maryland, though, talented group, no doubt. 5-star freshman big Derek Queens had a good season. They had a big-time shooter, Gillespie, a transfer, and then a step taken by Rodney Rice as well. And they're consistent in a lot of areas. I don't think there's anything that they really do elite. In terms of being at an elite level, I'm not sure that
a new dog, they say,
that there's anything that they do well. All 4 of their Big Ten losses are on the road. If you look at the numbers there, Purdue, Washington, Oregon, Northwestern, they lost all 4. Yep, that's correct. Good job, Hinkle. It wasn't really that hard of a question, but you got it right, I suppose. Projected lineups, you got Jacoby Gillespie, Belmont transfer at the 1, Selton Miguel, South Florida transfer at the 2, Rodney Rice at the 3 of Virginia Tech transfer, then Julian Reese, of course, back with him, and then Derek Queen, the 5-star freshman, like I said. And you look at some of the numbers. I mean, Miguel shooting 39% from 3. You got Gillespie shooting 43% from 3. You got Jay Young off the bench shooting 43% from 3. It's a mixed together group in terms of there's a lot of transfers in this team. There's a couple returning guys. Obviously, Deshaun Harris-Smith is back doing similar things to what he did last year, except he might be even better. I would say he might be even better in some ways, but scoring a little bit less, I guess. It's an interesting roster. But Illinois, the track record's there, 12-0 off the loss since the beginning of last year. So
pretty good.
Yeah, haven't lost 2 games in a row since they lost to, I think, what was it, like Purdue, Penn State, Arkansas in the Meyer-Shannon year. A couple stats. Offensive efficiency, Illinois 19th, Maryland 31st. Defensive efficiency, Maryland 26th, Illinois 9th. Maryland splits from 2-point range, 3-point range, free throw range, 56, 36, 75. Illinois 56, 32, 76. Illinois obviously has the rebounding edge. Maryland forces a lot of turnovers, 22% they force, which is 23rd in the country. Illinois is 5th in 3-point attempts per field goal attempts on defense. So teams don't like shooting threes against Illinois. Illinois also 9th in average height, 126th for Maryland. KenPom has this is Illinois by 8. Illinois shooting 30% from 3 in conference play, 16th in the league. Not great.
Ew, that is not good.
And then Illinois 15.2% turnover percentage, which is 2nd in the Big Ten. And then 34% offensive rebounding percentage, which is also 2nd in the Big Ten. The only team that's better at offensive rebounding in the Big Ten than Illinois in conference play is Michigan State. And that's by 0.7. And Maryland's 4th on defense and forcing turnovers in the Big Ten. So, a little bit of contrast in styles between the two teams. Players to watch.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah. It's got to be.
I'm going to go with Will Riley. Like I said, he had a really good game. He was my player of the game against Michigan State. See if he can keep it going. Like to see, if Will Riley gets it going, this team it reaches another level. So, and then I went with Julian Reese. I know he's kind of taken a back seat since Derek Queen has came to Maryland, but I think this is going to be another interesting 4 matchup for Hummer. Defensively, I'm sure that he's going to be slagging in the zone, in the paint most of the time, and helping with Derek Queen. And I also think that maybe Will Riley gets some of Hummer's minutes in this game because of that. But
Dairy Queen? What?
Derek Queen. Who names their kid Derek when your last name's Queen?
You never know. Wait this. I'm going Kaspers Yakachonis. Just play 30 minutes, 35 minutes, And Jacoby Gillespie from Maryland. If Boswell draws his assignment, the guy shoots 43% from 3, so gonna have to be on him. Predictions.
Jeffrey is gonna get banned. All right.
Good.
I got Illinois winning this game by 13, 82-69. They're going to be playing pissed off. They might score 100 this game. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to over predict. So
I'm going Illinois 86-74. They win by 12.
Orange Crush back in the house too, right?
Yeah, big spot for them. They figure out how to continue to win after losing.
Yeah.
Then you got to string some together. You got Northwestern after that. You got to get rattle off some wins.
Bootzilla says 85-68 Illinois. Hinkle says Dairy Queen parking lot game.
Yeah.
All right. Want to talk about the Big Ten and such? I know we talked about it a little bit already, but
quickly. Ohio State beating Purdue last night, 73-70 at Mackey. Tough look for Purdue to lose this game. They go minus 16 in the second half. They're at 41-28 at the half.
Mike gave up like 40. How many points they gave up in the second half?
45.
45 in the second half. Ouch.
Micah Parrish, the San Diego State transfer, has been hot last couple games. Goes 6 for 8 from 3, 22 points in this one. If you go into Mackey and you shoot 48% from deep, you got a good chance to win, and that's exactly what they did. Purdue goes 3 for 9 from 3. Maybe they didn't take enough. 28-26, Ohio State rebounding.
I think you learned last night that if Braden Smith is having an off night shooting, Purdue it could be in trouble.
Because Fletcher Lawyer had 15. Yeah, Fletcher Lawyer had 15 points but didn't make any threes. They had TKR had a good game, 26-7. Ohio State turned it over 18 times as well, which is interesting.
How many of those were in the first half, though?
Yeah, I don't have those numbers.
I want to say that probably 12 of them were in the first half, and then the other 6 were in the last minute and a half of the game. I know that's not true, but that's what I'm going with.
Sounds right. Yeah, I mean they were efficient from 2, they were efficient from 3, and they went 14 for 17 from the free throw line. A lot of reasons why they won this game. It's a big win for them. They were starting to, they're 3-5 in the Big Ten now. They lost 3 in a row going into this one, including a game in Columbus to Indiana, which that's unforgivable. But yeah, tough one for Purdue. Purdue was in a good position. They still are 7-2, but not one you want to lose, certainly. And your 2 losses in the Big Ten are Ohio State, Penn State now. So good football programs, but basketball,
Yeah. Boutil says Purdue doesn't look like a team that will go far in the tournament. If they get past the first weekend, I'll be very surprised. I see that they have a chance to. Yeah, I mean,
it's a draw will be important.
Yeah.
If you draw like a long athletic team, you might have some trouble. Like I don't think Purdue beats Duke if it gets to it in like an Elite 8 Final Four game. I don't think they beat Auburn. I don't think they beat Alabama again. I think Florida beats them too. I think every team in the top 10 right now in KenPom, which Purdue's 10th and Illinois is 9th, so we'll disregard. So we'll say top 8. I think everybody in the top 8 right now would probably be a bad matchup for Purdue. Maybe not Tennessee, just because it's like Tennessee's defense would be tough for them, but Tennessee's offense is really nothing to be afraid of. And Purdue's defense is good enough, I would say, to win some games. But yeah, tough one for Purdue. Northwestern Michigan was an overtime game after the Illinois-Michigan State game Sunday. 80-76, Michigan handles business. They're 6-1 now. Vlad Golden took a terrible shot late in the game, but still had a good game. 31 points, 8 boards, 4 blocks. I think Chris Collins was calling him out on the flopping, which is, funny. I think I defended
the nuts, man.
I think I defended Northwestern and Chris Collins though on our podcast account because this Michigan fan was saying that Golden owns Northwestern when Northwestern beat FAU and Golden in the tournament last year. But whatever. I guess facts don't matter. Northwestern just doesn't have enough guys. It's that simple. It's 76 points in an overtime game, and you basically get all your points from 4 guys. Nicholson had 4 points. Outside of that, everybody other than Martinelli, Barnheiser, Barry, and Leach had 0 points.
Yeah, that's tough. Ty Barry's been not great this year.
Yeah, I mean, he had 12 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals in this game, but he was 2 for 8 from 3. His 3-point shot was never really consistent. I mean, he went 38% in 2022, 29% in 2023, 43% last year. Now he's 35. So it's kind of leveled out a little bit. 35 still fine, but they don't have enough guys. Like you can't. Sierra-Vino plays 22 points. Angelo Sierra-Vino. I wonder what his nationality is. 40% 3-point shooter, 8 for 20, and he has 0 points in this game in 22 minutes. Like you can't play that, especially against a Michigan team that, outside of Illinois, Michigan's probably the second most talented team in the Big Ten, I think. I think it's close. I think there's others that could argue it, but I think Illinois obviously is probably number 1, and I think Michigan's right behind him. I mean, Danny Wolf's an NBA guy. Trey Donaldson's a good player, and some of those guys struggled in this game. I mean, Danny Wolf didn't make a shot in this game, and they still found a way to get it done against the Northwestern team that plays really hard. They just don't have – if you're going to have Martinelli go 4 for 14 from 2, 5 for 17 from the field, and you're going to have Barnheiser go 5 for 14 from the field, it's a hard way to win. Hard way to win a game, especially when, like I said, Sierra-Vino has 0 points. It doesn't even take a 3, even though he shoots 40%. And then Ty Barry goes 2 for 8 from 3. So the better team obviously won this game, but probably closer than you'd like it if you're Michigan in that spot. Northwestern now 2-5 in the Big Ten. They should be 1-6. It's really a shame that Illinois lost to them, but it's whatever. Big game tonight though between Indiana going into Evanston. Indiana needs this one because if you're Indiana, your upcoming schedule. I mean, you're 5-3 in the Big Ten right now, even though you really shouldn't be. But you got Maryland, Purdue, Wisconsin, Michigan, Michigan State, UCLA, Purdue is the rest of the schedule until late February for Indiana. So there's a legitimate chance that Indiana loses they're going to be the underdog in their next. I think they're probably the dog tonight, and they'll be the dog for every game until probably they play Penn State at the end of February. So we'll see about Indiana. And then I mentioned earlier North Carolina. What an outright disaster the Tar Heels are. 12-8, 5-3 in the conference. The ACC is really bad. I mean, the ACC is Duke. Louisville's having a good year. Clemson's fine. And then it's everybody else who sucks for the most part. Like Miami's got a good offense. Miami, amazingly, I think, might have the most interesting metrics in recent history. They're 50th in offensive efficiency. Now, remember, this is an ACC school, folks. They're 341st in defensive efficiency.
Oof.
I don't know if I've seen that. They're 0-7 in the conference. They've won one game since November 17th. They're not good, certainly. And Duke, this is a cakewalk for Duke. If you're Duke, you should almost be worried that you're just going to absolutely roll through conference play. And
it's a good thing they play Illinois.
That's what I was going to bring up. They do play Illinois February 22nd. That'll be a nice gap after you play, Cal, Stanford, and Virginia, who are all terrible. Then you play Illinois. I mean, Duke literally has 3 games in their schedule against top 40 opponents left. 3 games. North Carolina twice, and North Carolina's bad. And Clemson. It's disgusting what the ACC's become. And speaking of Duke, here you go. Countdown to March Madness. Number 1 coming February 10th. Big reveal. Huge reveal. Cooper Flags on the thumbnail. How about that, folks?
Man.
Whoa. I was going
Brad Underwood.
to put Dan Hurley on there.
Surprised you didn't. You've been sucking him off on Twitter.
Not really. I said one thing. Cooper Flag, TJ Otzelberger, Janai Broom. I think it's only fair. Duke and Auburn are probably the 2 best teams in the country right now. And Iowa State is like fun and good. So
yeah,
they've earned it. No Big Ten representation there. Maybe I'll add a 4th player for number 2.
We also have another big thing coming, so stay tuned for that too.
Yeah, I don't want to overplay that, but you never know.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's not that huge, guys.
No, it's really just stupid. All right. We'll be back for the next episode. Maybe if Illinois plays well, or if Illinois plays really well or really poorly, I'll probably maybe do like a spaces on Twitter after the game.
Okay.
I'll consider.
I mean, it's going to be 10:30 at night.
I've done that before after games. People will join.
Some moron
will want to give his thoughts, and I'll have to cut him off.
When are we going to do the next podcast? I feel like I have something Friday night.
Well, they don't play till Sunday.
My dog's being a turd today. Saturday night I got something, so we do Saturday early afternoon. Does that work for you, Hinkle?
That's interesting. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know what's going on Friday. I feel like something's going on.
I could get a guest.
I could get a haircut. That's it.
I could get a guest host if you want.
Who is one? You don't have any friends?
I meant like somebody in the chat right now, just host an episode with you. Let Hinkle. Hinkle's got so many fucking thoughts. Let him do it.
I think Tyler's dog is a big fan of Tomislav. Seems to bark when his name is mentioned. Yeah, and then he goes and runs in the bedroom and eats my dress shoes. So gotta buy a new pair of those now.
Hinkle, do you want to guest host an episode?
Hinkle wouldn't do this. He likes to talk a lot, but he doesn't like to actually talk.
I'm just checking,
He's his Twitter's a burner account.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Jeffrey could do it.
Jeffrey would be amazing.
There you go. Perfect.
Who's he with, me or you? I'm so
Either
confused.
Either one. Whoever has the scheduling. I can't do Saturday until later, so.
All right. Well, I gotta let my dog in. We'll talk about it off air. You guys will know. Just like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell in the top or bottom or wherever the hell it is, and we will. I can't do outros at you.
Podcast Illini on Twitter tomorrow night during the game. Check that out. Maybe a Spaces after the game. We'll see. And we'll be back at some other time in the near future.